Remember the 82,334 backgrounds I've made in the last 5 videos? Today's video is showing you what I did with some of them.
So these are the backgrounds that I have hoarded over several stamping crafting sessions. We've got 3D embossing folders, shaving cream is right here, gel printing. This was using the stamping block. I will link all 4 of those videos in the description below where you'll actually see me make these backgrounds. So one thing you can do is create a shaker card. There's many ways to make shaker cards. They're not really my forte because I like simple and I seem to like to just do my cards and not have to really think about it. These are little doodads from My Favorite Things. I've had them for years. If they're still available, I will link them. But they basically are plastic and they have the little compartments that you add your shaker bits to. And then it has a coordinating die cut that will cut out the frame so you don't see where the glue is. And that really put making the shaker card easy. So I used the background from the stamping block session that looked like a bunch of stars, and I'm adhering this to a background that I created with shaving cream. So I actually used 2 different backgrounds in this particular card. Super fun, they go together, who knew? So there's 2 backgrounds I created. You can also just add a very simple word die. This is also from a stamping block session I used, and that's a painted background. Again, I'll link all of the videos that will actually show you the backgrounds that I made below in the description. This is just simply a very much requested video on what do you do with all those backgrounds now that you made them, because I make tons of backgrounds at one session. If you know me, I make tons and tons and tons. So this is just adding a simple word die and then just cutting out some colored cardstock to make it look pretty and adhering it all together. And then this is one from the gel printed background. It's got a lot going on, so a simple little word cut die. That's word die cut is all you need. I'm using my favorite glue. I get asked about it all the time. It's called Barely Arts glue, and it is linked in the description below. This is the only glue I use. So this background didn't need anything, right? It was like already too busy as it was. Another thing you can do is just, if you have any background stamps, just stamp some beautiful backgrounds over it. This is a shaving cream card that I did. And I'm just inking this stamp up. Again, everything I'm using, if it's available, is going to be linked in the description for you. I'm just inking it up with some black ink. I am using my MISTI stamping tool. I love it. It's great for all kinds of stamping, repeat stamping, double stamping. If you miss a spot, you can stamp right over it. It's just a great tool. I have a video on that too, of course. You can always search my YouTube channel using keywords, and any videos correlating with your search will come up. So that's super easy peasy. Now, large word dies have been around for a while. I'm using one that I know isn't available, but I'm not going to get rid of it because I love it. It's a high die that used to be from the stamp market, that die right there. I'm sure they make other things. Where I usually buy my word dies, I go to Ellen Hudson and search word dies or scrapbook.com and specifically look for larger word dies. But I make sure all the letters are linked together. I've made the mistake of buying dies and they're all individual letters, and I am way too lazy to be gluing on individual letters. So this thinking of you, I just simply, you see what I did right here. I didn't use my tittle. I didn't lose my tittle. It sounds so dirty. It's not. A tittle is the dot to the I. If you have a background, because I had that leftover thinking of you, and so I just added a bunch of score lines on the back of that card with my scoreboard. Got me a twofer. I like my twofers. Another thing you can do is heat embossing. It's just a great thing. You just need some embossing powder, some embossing ink, and a heat tool of some kind. So this is what I originally cut out towards the beginning of the video, this high. And I am just using my Wow embossing pad, which is that sticky ink that goes down. Then I'm adding some embossing powder. So you have the sticky ink and then you have the embossing powder, and they stick together. And then I'll just go ahead and heat set it. And I just love watching these things melt. I really do. I'm just using the tip of scissors to hold this together. Use whatever you have on your desk. Whoop, my tittle flew off. Come back here, tittle. Get your butt back here. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead. Here's my glue again. I need to stop pimping out the glue, but I do love the glue. What can I say? and go ahead and adhere that to an orange background. I'm trying to use up all my colored cardstock, so backgrounds like this is a great way to use up any colored cardstock you have. If you don't have colored cardstock, hang on, I'll show you what you can do. So I'm just gluing this in here. Don't forget your tittle. How many times am I going to say tittle in this video? And bada bang, bada boom, another card is done. All right, let's do some more heat embossing. This is a 3D embossing folder that I created. Again, video link will be below on what to do with those embossing folders and have fun ways to use them. And then I just went ahead and used that same ink pad. I just swinked. If you don't know what swinking is, where have you been? Be sure to check the description. All these video resources are going to be in the description below. But I just went ahead and added that embossing ink, and now I'm whacking the crap out of it because I want some of it to fall off. So I whacked it really hard, and some of that powder fell off, and I like how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and heat set this entire background. And I'll keep this on screen in case you like to watch embossing powder melt like I do, but I do want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring my video again this month. I just adore them. They are where I learned a watercolor using or following Jane Davies' class. I'll link her in the description below in the YouTube, but this was the first animal I ever painted, her panda. And I followed her class, and look at my little panda. I did it. So I am going to show you other animals that I learned to paint by using her skills and taking her classes. Skillshare is more than watercoloring. There is so much stuff on there. It is unbelievable. And the first 1,000 subscribers to click the link below and use discount code laurelbeard, you will get 1 month free trial. So go in there, check it out. There is so much on there. You're just going to be like, ah! You're going to be just like that. Make sure you do that sound effect. All right, so I've gone ahead and melted the embossing powder, and now I've got this hello. This came out of my magic mug. If you don't know what that is, you know I'm going to have a link to the description in the video below telling you what my magic mug is. But anyway, it was too white, so I'm pressing that into an ink pad that is minted from Catherine Pooler. And then I'll go ahead and adhere that. And it just gave it a little pop of color. If you don't want a pop of color, don't do it. It's okay. Totally whatever you want to do. But so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. But here's where I mentioned, hey, if you don't have colored cardstock, hang tight. This is where it is. I do have a lot of colored cardstock, but what I don't have is this color. So I'm just going to swink on the same color that I used for the die cut. And you can do this on your white cardstock if that's what you have. And then you've got completely coordinated cardstock. I mean, hello. Another thing you can do is cut them up, and this is great for backgrounds that are very busy, like this one. This one's super cool. It's a gel printed background. It's very grungy, which typically isn't my style, but I just had so much fun layering and layering and layering. And this one has embossing paste and embossing powder and words. I mean, there's so much on here. So I'm going to cut them up. I cut them up the same way, but I'm going to adhere them down on some cardstock a different way. So this one, you're going to get a twofer for each card, right? You know, I love my twofers. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere it down, the one in the top left corner, run in the bottom right corner. Left, right, yes. And then for this one, I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to leave a gap in the middle. So think about different ways that you can cut up your card panel too. You can cut them into strips, and you can create little borders that you can use on multiple cards. There's lots of things that you can do with your backgrounds, especially the busy ones that you might think is too much for a card. So go ahead and trim off any edges or whatever. And now let's work on the first card. I'm just going to add some gold washi tape right there to kind of, break up where the gel printed panel meets the card base. And then I'll cut off any excess that I have. And here, you can do whatever you want. You can add a die cut. You have a space for a stamped sentiment or an image or whatever you want to do. But just look at your backgrounds and, think of your shape dies. Maybe you can cut out some shapes from your backgrounds. Like I said, you can do borders, and you can use the borders like I used the washi strip here, washi tape here, washi strip, that's not a word. So there's lots you can do. I went ahead and used an embossing tool to put that powder down that you can probably see there. You can just use baby powder or cornstarch if you don't have a tool like that. Just put it in an old sock or something. And then and that just keeps my embossing powder from flying around and sticking to places I don't want it. Then I heat set it, and then I just wipe away the baby powder. So here I'll just, this is just a die cut. I love my word die cuts. You can really stretch them, and it's a good investment to have a couple of word die cuts. And here's just a sentiment. And that takes care of this card. And then this one, I just added a die cut, from my magic mug, and stuck it in there. And the reason why I like this one is because that you have that nice pop of color that comes right through the middle of your card. All right, and last thing you can do, I mean, there's so many more things you can do, but I did have to contain a lot of my ideas in one video, but just stamp it out, right? And this is an outline stamp. So these are stamps that you typically would color in. I don't like to color except watercolor. I stink at all other kinds of coloring, even crayons. So I'm just going to stamp this right over that background, and that was made with shaving cream. And it is just so pretty. Now here's the trick. I need to add a leaf. Just take some tape. You don't need to get any masking paper or anything fancy. That's just my painter's tape that I keep, use. Use washi tape, use whatever. Cover up that little area. And now I can go ahead and stamp my leaf right there. And that masking tape is going to take away the stem and protect my flower. And then it looks like it's all one stamp. Don't you know? And oh my gosh, here you go, guys. Some of you are going to be like, ah! I got my glasses out and I'm going to cut apart this stamp. It said hello, something I can't see right now because my eyes are old. But I just wanted hello. So I got a good pair of scissors and I cut it apart. Do not freak out. They do not feel. And you can mount the stamp back exactly how you want it to on your acrylic block or MISTI stamping tool. I just simply wanted the word hello, so I cut it. Now you could have put masking tape over the bottom and covered it up like I did with the flowers, but yeah. I knew I would use the hello more than I would use the entire stamp with the sentiment on it. So this is a lot of backgrounds. Now that one in the top left corner, I don't know why I didn't get that on video, but that was just a 3D embossing folder that I sprayed with some metallic spray. All I did was 2 spritzes, and that was that. Easy peasy. So if you have any sprays, definitely think about that for backgrounds as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you got some ideas. What are your ideas with what you do with your backgrounds that you create? I want to know. Thanks so much for joining me today. Remember all the links in the description. It's going to be a bunch of links because I was talking about a bunch of different videos that I created. So it's all in the description below along with my Skillshare discount code. Check it out and I'll see you again next time.